Hi, I'm Brad Archer. I am the company manager at Horn in the West for the 2014 season, and with me is Chris Bellinger. And Chris, what do you do at Horn?
Well, I play Colonel Mackenzie, who is the bad guy, the main antagonist for the show, and I also work as the dialect coach.
Okay, great. And you are a veteran of outdoor theater. I've done a few over the years. Tell me a little bit. How long have you been working in outdoor theater?
I am. Well, I spent the last 3 years at Theater West Virginia, which is in Beckley, West Virginia.
Okay.
Really not that far from here. And we did Honey in the Rock, which was written by the same fellow who wrote the show here.
Right.
A guy named Kermit Hunter. Mm-hmm. He wrote over 80 outdoor historical dramas.
Wow.
Out of the 120 something that were operating at one point in this country.
Yeah.
We worked on Hatfields and McCoys, which is a show obviously about the Hatfields and McCoys by Billy Ed Wheeler, who's the same guy who wrote the Johnny Cash June Carter song Jackson.
Oh wow, I did not know that.
And then we generally did one or two other musicals in our season. I've also done some outdoor Shakespeare. With a small semi-professional company in Greenville, South Carolina. So I really love doing outdoor theater. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, tell me what is your favorite part about outdoor theater?
The audience. I love the audience. I come from a kind of a classical theater background. I'm doing lots of Shakespeare, and there's this cool freedom and interchange, I think, with Shakespeare, with the audience that happens, and it's very similar, I find, to outdoor historical dramas. Most of the audience for outdoor historical dramas aren't your typical theater-going audience. I mean, people don't show up in suits and ties, and you come, you bring your family, you might bring a picnic, and so they're much more. The audience is much more personally engaged.
Right.
And they don't have the kind of training, which I hate, in audiences that says you have to sit back and you can't respond and you have to sit quietly in your seat, right? And the audiences are much more engaged. They're much more involved. It makes it a whole lot more fun for the actors.
Yeah, sure. I can see that. You mentioned a second ago that you were playing Mackenzie, who was the bad guy. Do you normally tend to get bad guy villain type roles?
Yeah, I do. I've pretty much made a career out of it. Bad guys, kings, distant fathers. That's kind of my casting range.
Okay, sure. Is it difficult to portray the antagonist or the villain, or
no? I think it's fun. I mean, I think it's fun. I think it's more fun. I think it's more fun because I think writers have more fun writing villains than they do writing the good guy. And so I think that the villains are much more fun to play because I think that in general they tend to be better written. Speaking of it, I'll tell you this story because I know you've heard this, but they haven't.
They haven't.
A couple of years ago, I was playing the villain in Honey in the Rock, and I was walking up the stairs. I don't even know if this is appropriate to tell on television, but I heard someone yell, "I hate you." And something flashed by my face, and I turned, and apparently this, 67-year-old woman had taken a swing at me. And terrifying though it was at the time, it makes a great story.
Yeah, sure.
I turned around, and there's this 14-year-old little actor from the community behind me. I wasn't quite sure when it happened, and I was like, did that just, and she's like,
well, what a great compliment, though, in a strange way.
Yeah, no, I mean, people. That's what I mean. I mean, obviously, you don't want people taking swings at you, but that's what I mean. The audience is so much more engaged, and there's so much more into it than I think they are in traditional theater.
No, I can definitely see that. You mentioned also you worked as the dialect coach. How does that? Talk a little bit about what that is and what you do when you work with dialect, diction, voice, that kind of stuff.
Okay, well, specifically here at in Boone, we have several accents. We do Irish, I do Scottish, and then we have some people doing RP,
Which
stands for received pronunciation, and it's the traditional kind of very posh British that you hear if you were to listen to like English television from the 80s.
Okay.
And it's actually so we work on with the actors getting them to a point where they can do those dialects, those accents relatively fluently. It involves, without getting too technical, working on a lot on their vowel substitutions. I mean, one of the things that makes most dialects a dialect is actually how we pronounce our vowels.
Okay.
There are a few consonant substitutions that happen. Like if you're doing a Cockney, your THs becomes Fs. Right.
Yeah.
And so thief becomes thief.
Right.
But by and large, accents, dialects are carried on the vowels, and so we work on kind of drilling those sounds, and finding ways of then finding ways of using those sounds, connecting them to the text in a way that allows the actor to still act while thinking, I have to pronounce all my A's.
Right.
And it's a process. I mean, it really is, and but it's fun to do. It's fun to see. It's fun to help people do anything and watch them get better.
Right. So let's just like lesson 1. If our audience at home is wanting to learn something about RP, what would you say?
The first thing that is the best thing to do if you're learning an accent or a dialect really is to find samples of that dialect. I mean, you have to know what it sounds like. The vowel substitutions aren't really enough. Every accent, every dialect has kind of the artsy side of it is that it has a quality. It has a rhythm. It has a lilt that is hard to get in your body unless you've heard it.
Right.
And so it's BBC from the 80s, right? That's a great example. We have a lot of movies where people, and television shows and plays and stuff where people put on an RP accent, but I think it's better to go to like a BBC show or something like that, old Masterpiece Theater. Mm-hmm. Go watch the old Sherlock Holmes, or not the new one, which is awesome. Well, actually, Benedict Cumberbatch is a really nice RP.
Okay.
But to watch those and listen to native speakers. And then you can start to notice for yourself what the vowel substitutions are. And you can buy tapes and CDs and videos and whatever that will drill you in the sounds. Mm-hmm. But really hearing it and then finding ways of using it, finding text to say, and using it not just if you're an actor, not just using it with the lines, but using it kind of extemporaneously in your everyday speech. So I could talk to you and I could do the whole interview and just be in an RP, and it would be great practice for me because then not only do I have to think about my substitutions for what I'm going to say, but I also have to come up with what I'm going to say, and so it makes it a little bit harder. So if I have prepared text in front of me, it suddenly becomes very easy to do that.
Wow. All right. Very good. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining us today. Is there anything else you want to add or share? Or anything?
Come see the show.
Come see the show. Absolutely. Where can you find information out about Horn on the West?
I don't know. No, you can go online, but I don't know the.
It's Horn on the West.
horninthewest.com. And
the phone number is 828-264-2120.
Problem is we don't call for reservations.
Yeah,
we're actors.
Yeah, we're just there.
We're there all the time.
But yeah, come out and see us. It's a great show, and thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Tuesday through Sunday.
Tuesday through Sundays, 8 o'clock. Thank you.